Hello and welcome once again to Celebrity Variety Talk. I'm your host, Josie Latimer, coming to you with a story regarding a former judge by the name of Tracie Hunter in Cincinnati. She was convicted for the misuse of her position, you guys. First of all, before I get into my commentary, I'd like to thank all of you, as I always do, for being my subscribers and for my newcomers as well. I am going to talk to you about Judge Tracie Hunter today. Judge Tracie Hunter was sentenced to 6 months, and right after she received that sentence, she went limp, you guys. She went limp because she has sent so many people to jail, and now it was her turn. It was her turn, you guys. She was the first elected African American juvenile court judge in Hamilton County. Isn't that something? The first elected African American juvenile court judge in Hamilton County. That is really something else. And she was accused of using her influence to help her youth correction officer brother Stephen after he allegedly struck a young offender on the job on July the 7th in 2013. Let's bag it up a little bit. You know how sometimes your sons, nephews, kids get in trouble and they were juveniles, and her brother was a correctional officer. So maybe one of the kids said something to him that he didn't like, or looked at him a way he didn't like, and he didn't have a reason to hit him. He really didn't. And so it seems to me that in her case, the reason she did get 6 months was because of the fact she was standing up for the wrong, and she's a judge. First of all, she was not supposed to get any documents to support her brother's claim because allegedly his boss recommended termination for his employment. But if she was a judge and she knew her brother actually hit that young man on the job, then she should have stayed out of it, and she would still have her position as a judge. Because it's hard enough to receive a position like that, being the first African American juvenile judge and in Hamilton County, and then you get that position and you turn around and you go and do something that you know you should not be doing. It doesn't matter if it's your brother or whoever, because you're sitting on a bench to uphold the law, not to break the law. It doesn't matter if you're a judge, police officer. As I was saying in other videos, they're coming down on everybody, and especially the people that are sitting on top that are supposed to be looking down here with the people that are doing crimes or people that didn't do crimes, and try to help solve the situation on the bench, but not to hurt a situation, especially if someone was hit. If her brother actually hit a juvenile, then she should have stayed out of it and told him he has to deal with that himself. So now I guess Stephen, her brother, probably feel bad because he got his sister in trouble, or she got herself in trouble. So allegedly he struck a young offender on the job. This is allegedly in July 2013. So it led to his boss recommending his termination. What happened when she went to court, she was ordered to serve that 6 months period, and boy, she immediately went limp. She just couldn't receive that sentence. But she had received some docs about the teen, and she passed it to her brother. And so she was convicted in October 2014. She was convicted on those charges. However, she appealed the charges up until this point, just a few days ago. I mean, she held it off as long as she could by doing those appeals, but I guess this came to the end of the road. All things, what goes around comes around, and all things shall come to an end. And this did on this particular day, which was just a couple of days ago. And so she went limp. And as you can see, they had to drag her out of the courtroom. And there was another protester that was inside of the courtroom, and they had to arrest her because she was protesting the conviction, and also people outside, they were standing up for this judge. And I know how they feel, because I know how they feel. They feel like we finally have a judge, an African American female judge, the first juvenile black judge, and she's here to help us. But what if that was their son, and that correctional, her brother Stephen, would have hit their son, or their brother, or their loved one? You wouldn't want her to stand up for the wrong if it was your child, your brother, your loved one. So those people that were protesting, they didn't think about that. And so that girl was detained, but they did let her go. And so now, guess what, you guys? The judge is acting like everyone else. She says that when they was dragging her out of the court, right here, and she looks proper, very poised as it was dragging her out, but she is claiming that they injured her back and her back and so forth and so on, and that she already had pre-existing medical conditions, and by them dragging her, they injured her more. So now her attorneys are looking into opening a case with that. Also, they are, I think as of today, her team are trying to file for her to get a dismissal of her indictment. But what do you guys think about this? And also, she said that it was racially motivated. Now, on the teen that her brother hit as a juvenile correctional officer, her brother was, and he actually struck a child, a juvenile. I don't know if he was African American or Caucasian, and that it doesn't matter about what race he was. What matters to me is that he struck him. He was an adult and he struck a kid, and she was passing documents because his boss put in for him to be terminated. So if she was a judge and she was on the bench and it was my child that her brother hit, I would be very upset at her. I would. Because you are trying to help your brother that struck a child, and you're a judge sitting on the bench. I mean, I just can't see it. And I'm just telling it from a honest point of view. That's what I'm telling it from. I'm not telling it to be, hurt her or to discredit her as being a judge. Well, I have to kind of discredit her for being a judge. Maybe she did some good things that I don't know about. But when you're taking up for your brother and he struck a juvenile on his job at that, and you improperly demanded and received documents about the teen and passed them to your brother, yeah, that's wrong. That was wrong. Totally wrong. So you guys, let me know what you think about this, and please click like, share, and subscribe, and I'll be coming back with some more about this case as it goes on. If they get her out of jail, we'll hear more about that. But again, this was in Cincinnati, and the appellant judge, he just didn't buy it. He felt like all your appeals have come to an end. Your brother struck a juvenile. You demanded documents, and you passed them on to your brother about the juvenile. That means, just like she's saying that they are racist against her, the parents of that juvenile could be saying that they're racist about him, or the boy that they struck, because she was in fact helping her brother, the brother that his name was Stephen. She was trying to help him and pass documents to him about a child. So in this case, what do you guys think? Please click like, share, and subscribe, and I'll be coming back with more of Celebrity and Variety Talk. I'm your host, Josie Latimer. Let me know what you think. I'm not bashing the judge, but I am bashing the fact that a child was hit by her brother and she was passing illegal documents against that child. I'm going to leave it with that. Leave your comments and let me know what you think. And I'll be coming back with more of Celebrity and Variety Talk. Again, I'm your host, Josie Latimer. Talk to you later. Bye.